Okay, now we're live.
Hey everyone.
All right. I told you I get nervous when I do videos with you. All right. It's me, the indie comic book guy. Johanna's back. Round of applause. Yeah. We decided to do something we've never done on this channel. We're going to talk about dating in the woke era, the post Me Too movement, the post Trump era, the post everything, post Kanye era. I don't know what that has to do with dating, but I'm sure it affected
It has
somebody somewhere.
something. Yeah.
Um, I don't even know where to start.
I mean, I know as myself, it's difficult to be like, "Hey, you're just hot." People think there's something to it.
Huh. Okay, let's start there. Let's start with how we met.
Yeah.
We met on a dating app, which is a weird thing because I grew up in the 80s and 90s. There were no dating apps until probably what, around 95? And then it was
Yeah.
weird if you met somebody off the internet.
Right.
They looked at you like, what? They're gonna kill you. Like the what was it? The Craigslist killer was a thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that totally was California, man.
Yeah, and now it's like normalized to meet people via an app or whatever.
Yeah. Like you don't meet people just going out anymore. You can't
What?
just go to a restaurant or go, you know, to a store and be like, "Hey, give me your number."
How would that even work these days? Like, excuse me, do guys randomly come up to women these days and like, yo, what's your number, girl? I want to check you to Chick-fil-A.
Old dudes come up to me, not the young ones, and they'll do that.
How do
Yeah,
you know they're old?
because they look way older than my dad.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Were you talking about like physically they looked old, or you found out that they were like older than God? So, all right,
Yeah,
guys around your dad's age. Okay,
yeah. So 60s, 70s.
is that creepy?
Oh, hell yeah.
Because you're in your mid 30s,
Mm-hmm.
and I know some people like age is just a number, but I think there should be limits.
Right? Like, if you have a kid near my age, just uh-uh.
It's like
That,
dating your parent.
yeah, it's like, ew, no.
Now, I was talking to my friend Ethan today. He was telling me about one of his wife's friends. He's like, oh, she's hot. She has an OnlyFans page, and she only dates guys that are around her dad's age. And I was like, Ethan, you realize she's a sugar baby. She's looking for a sugar daddy. And it
Yeah.
never dawned on him that this is what this girl was doing. I was like, she's hot. She has an OnlyFans page. She only
OnlyFans,
wants to
right
date,
there.
yeah, guys that traditionally you think older guy they have money. Not that's not always the case, but you know
Yeah.
it is what it is. Even if they don't have money, if a guy in his 50s is getting to spend time with some 21-year-old, he's going to
Mhm.
do. Hey, you want steak? You want lobster? You want a Coach bag? It happens.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. Like, the things that, I don't know, people do, I guess.
But you have to wonder: is the guy in the wrong for we call it simping for this 21, 22 year old, or is she in the wrong for using him, knowing full well that under normal circumstances she would not be interested in this guy?
Both.
Why is that?
Because one, the old dude is creepy. Two, she's a user.
So, what do you say to just an average run of the mill date? A
That,
guy takes a girl out, buys her dinner for whatever reason. And the girl has no interest, so she goes out with him again and again just for a free meal. Is that using also?
Oh yeah, totally. Like
But why do women do that? I can understand the first date you're trying to feel a person out, but why continue to go out with a guy who you're not into?
I mean, like personally, I don't know, but I'm sure it's just like, you know, they're just using people to just be like, "Hey, you keep providing for me, so I'm going to keep using you," you know?
And it does happen.
Mhm.
It does it's weird. Like you're a girl. How do you feel about these guys who intentionally go out with a woman expecting, hey, I bought you a hamburger with cheese. You should have sex with me. What do you think of these creepo guys with
I
these
think
expectations?
that's fucked up, honestly. I'm like, "Hey, you chose to buy the meal. That does not mean I'm obligated to do anything with you."
What if it's pepper jack cheese on a burger?
Nope. I mean, especially if I like always offer to go Dutch. Like,
Mhm.
come on.
It's sad, and these are the worst type of men that go out with a woman with the expectation that if I buy you dinner or take you out to a show, that sex is gonna happen. Like, I don't like
Yeah,
that.
it's, you know, like, I mean, like I kind of like never really thought about it when I was a kid, but like
Mhm.
I'm pretty and old dudes really gravitate to me. And it's like, mm-mm, you don't need to buy me anything. I want you to just leave me the fuck alone. Just
Do,
no.
just do you think it's a double standard? Because in American society, if people see an older guy with a younger woman, people don't generally question it. But if they see an older woman when they're a younger man, they kind of like, ew, gross.
Oh, totally. Because, like, even when I was a kid, like, my dad driving me across the country, people were, like, looking at us like we're a fucking couple. And it's like, ew, no, that's my dad, you know? Because got shapely, young.
How dare you hang out with a parent?
I know,
It's
right?
crazy how we have these double standards. And I say this, and you know the story. My ex-wife cheated on me in her mid 40s with a guy that's 26 years old, who's old enough. If she had him at 17 years old, she could be his mom.
Yeah. And that's,
Like
I mean,
what I told you about that, what went through your mind?
I mean, like, it's the same thing as like the creepy old dudes. I'm just like, no, you don't do anyone that could possibly be your child's age.
There's got to be limits on this.
Yeah, I'm like, we are not animals,
Because I'm looking at it, aside from money and sex, what do you have in common?
right? Like, you can't even talk to someone from a younger generation.
Talk about TikTok videos. I don't know.
I know, right? Like, hey, what did you save on Pinterest? Yep.
I don't, dating is, that's why I want to, we were talking about doing the show. I was like, let's talk about dating because it's become this weird, weird thing for
Like,
a lot of people.
right? Like, you basically have to meet someone online now. Like, you don't just meet someone, you know, like I said, like at the bar or a restaurant, on the street.
But it's like, okay, if you are on a dating app and you're looking at these guys' profiles, what are like the top three things most women, and I know you can only speak for yourself, but we'll just say
Yeah.
you uh, are looking for when you're swiping left and you're swiping right?
Um, I mean, obviously physical attraction because, if you don't but then like for me personally, I look for like some sign of intelligence, like, end your sentences with periods, capitalize your eyes, that kind of stuff. And
Is
then
that really a thing?
I mean, it is for me, but yeah, I mean, it bugs me.
That's because you're a teacher.
Yes. But
So you would disqualify a guy if you saw his dating profile and the I wasn't capitalized, he didn't end the sentences correctly.
I feel like, no. I'll come back to you later.
Oh damn.
Hmm.
So anything else?
And then I know it's so cliche, but some sort of sense of humor.
Is that easy to get from a dating profile though?
Mm, not really.
See?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So when we met, well, we were exchanging messages on the dating app. You were like, I got an important question to ask you. I was like, sure, what's up? You were like Star Trek or Star Wars. And I was like, oh, I
Yep.
get it. I like this girl.
Yep.
That's a
See,
deal breaker for you, huh?
nah. I mean, Star Trek is definitely my main, but I'm okay with the old Harrison Ford Star Wars. The new ones, eh.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But dating's weird. It's like we grew up in an era where if you were into nerd shit, you wasn't cool. You were an outcast. You were an outsider. You were the black sheep.
Right?
And now, and the girls that were nerdy, they were overweight, and I know what the body positive movement, which I have issues with because I'm like,
Yeah, you
we're
can't
not
tell people
shaming
they're
people if we
fat
want them to
and
be
it's
healthy.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah, like it's not okay. Get healthy, you know.
exactly.
And then, and I've seen this happen with Rebel Wilson. I've seen it happen with Adele, Jennifer Hudson. They were, larger women that got skinny, and all their fans, not all of them, some of their fans turned on them, like, "How dare you?
Yeah, it's like, oh
How dare you
gosh,
get healthy?"
how dare you take care of yourself?
It's
Like,
crazy. It's like, but
yeah, it's
you know,
like,
growing up in the '80s and '90s, a lot of the nerd women, girls, they were heavier. But now that, and I blame Robert Downey Jr., he helped mainstream the nerd stuff because if that first Iron Man movie didn't hit, none of this would be here today.
yeah, I mean, you kind of do have to give it to him a little bit. Like, he really, made like all of the Avengers stuff like cool.
Yeah, he made it cool. And
Yeah,
so you had these girls and these women that were like, you know what? One of the coolest, hottest actors out there co-signs this nerd shit. Maybe it's not so bad.
right. And see, like, I mean, I grew up watching Next Gen, and I thought like Deanna was hot. So I was like, I gotta have like that perfect figure. You
Mm,
know, I can't be a fat bitch.
damn. Yeah, those costumes fit a little differently.
A little different for me. Yep.
Which reminds me, like, looking at space shows. Excuse me. Babylon 5, uh, what's that? Farscape, Star Wars, Trek, all
Hmm.
that. There are no big women in these shows.
Mm-mm. Nope. Yeah, they're all fit. They're not like scrawny, but they're fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just thought about that. Now that we talked about it,
Yeah.
because we live in this woke era where everybody's about inclusion and diversity, which is the whole point of this show. And every show has to have the black character, the gay character, the Indian character, and so forth. It's like a checklist
Right.
when it
Your
comes to
token white
Hollywood.
girl. Yeah.
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 And you look at the real world because they're like, we want it to be a reflection of the real world, but in the real world, you don't see these friend groups section off like that.
Right. Like, I mean, if we bring up like for anybody that has seen it, New Girl, like, you know, there is no real diversity there. I mean, there's Winston, but it's not, it's just basic friend group, white people hanging out with each other.
See, I disagree with you on that. Like,
Yeah.
Friends, all white people. But
Oh,
New
yeah.
Girl, you had Winston and Coach. That's one of the few sitcoms where you had two uh black
Maine.
leads.
Yeah. And then I guess
Then you had Cece, who was Indian.
yeah, and
Smith
like
was
the most
Jew.
gorgeous woman ever. Um
Oh hell yeah! But it
so
didn't feel
yeah,
it
they
didn't feel
just
forced on that show.
exactly. That's the way it is like with, should I say, normal people? Like,
Yeah.
you make your friend groups and you don't really think about that. At least I don't. I'm just like,
No.
hey, this person has a good personality. They're cool.
And the way they set it up was, hey, we grew up together. We were college roommates, and a lot of times college roommates, you're stuck in this dorm with a stranger. You just, hey, sometimes you become friends. So it all worked out and made sense. It didn't feel forced. But some of
Right.
these other shows, it's forced like a motherfucker.
This is true. Yeah.
I don't know. Because I kind of
Yeah.
wonder sometimes if, like, we go back and let's call it wokeify some of these old sitcoms, like
Oh gosh.
Full House.
Right. Oh man. Although, I mean, Uncle Jesse, like, that's like totally what people are doing right now. Like, they're in their 40s living with a family member.
Yeah.
See?
And I always thought Danny was gay.
Yeah,
I know he had
I
love
can see
interest on the
that.
show, but
Yeah,
if they wokeified that show, Danny would be gay.
he'd be like,
They're like, hey, let's clean.
yeah, totally.
And the show, do you remember Family Matters with
Yeah,
Urkel?
yep.
Like, the dad on that show in real life was gay.
Yeah, and like Urkel, like, are you sure you're not gay? Because, mm,
It would have been a cool plot twist if Urkel was gay, but he transformed to Stefan. He was straight.
you're right.
That would have been the most epic thing
Like,
ever. If
what?
we're wokeifying our childhood sitcoms.
I know, right? Like, if we go there. Okay, so if we're doing childhood sitcoms, let's go way back. You remember Rainbow Bright?
Oh, heck yeah.
So, like, they'd all be flamboyant, you know? Like, Rainbow Bright would be like super butch.
I'm trying to think of a butch version of Rainbow Bright with the Ellen haircut
I know, right?
and a
And
bunch of
it's
flannel.
all like that died.
I used to wonder that about like strawberry shortcake. They wokeified that.
Right? Or like Peanuts. Like,
Oh, heck yeah.
Lucy was.
Everybody knew Lucy was. And I kind of wonder about Charlie Brown if he was a top or a bottom because he had no interest in girls.
Right? He's definitely a bottom.
And this is what people would do if they made these shows today. They would be
Yep.
super woke.
Yep. So it's like, I mean, okay, so if we're going there, what do you think about like the new Star Trek Discovery with the they them character?
They have a they them character.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the
The
non-binary.
non-binary girl, the boy. I don't
Oh,
know
I don't
my
know what's the
terms,
character's name.
sorry.
I get confused, and I don't mean to offend anybody by the non-binary stuff. It confuses me because I'm still wondering who the day part is.
We just need a little help, that's all.
Yeah, like I tell people when they tell me they're non-binary, when I stop thinking that they're a star in my head, I really get confused. But it's like I don't try to offend people. I'm like, okay, so we can go by any pronouns we want. Call me
Right.
God.
I know, right? Like, hey, I love Supernatural, call me Chuck.
Oh
That's
Lord.
God.
But if you think about it, nobody can. If we're using the scientific method, if anyone says that they're God or Satan, nobody can disprove it using the scientific method that they're not.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this little cat is Satan. Here, I'll pan for a second. Here, guys. This little asshole. She's being all
Aw.
cute now. Yeah,
She's like, I'm just chilling.
yeah.
But if we're gonna wokeify some sitcoms, I think the facts of life was already woke.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Friends, that was hell's no.
No. Because
Yeah,
Friends, they would need a gay character. It took them
they
years to get a black female love interest, and that
right.
was like a little bit before the show ended. And that was Aisha Tyler, who she was married to a white guy at the time. They got divorced a few years ago. And now she's like super gay. So I guess they did check two boxes at the same time.
Damn.
But if
I mean, Ross was always a little gay.
Ross was hella gay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to want Ross and Phoebe to hook up
Ross and Phoebe, huh?
because you had the smartest character, allegedly the smartest character and the dumbest character.
Right.
But like the Rachel and Joey, not that I watch Friends, may have seen a couple episodes.
No, you never have ever. I can't
It
tell at
made no
all.
sense for Joey and Rachel to get together. It made no sense. They used to have a show called The Parkers. It was a spinoff of Moesha. It had Monique on there and this actress, I think her name was Candace Vaughn. So
Okay.
two
Yeah, I had
overweight,
like three
overweight
TV
mom and
channels
overweight
growing
dad.
up. So.
I mean, overweight mom and overweight dad. Overweight mom, black woman, and her overweight daughter. Neither one of them could get a man. And Monique's character was chasing this professor every episode. Every episode. She finally wore him down, then he was like, damn it, I guess I like you now. But it took several seasons of her chasing this man.
Mm-mm. And yeah, that's never realistic.
Is
So,
there a time frame on when women stop chasing men? What's up, Eric? I see you in the chat. What's up, Adrian?
uh, uh, I mean, like, I never have, but I was also very awkward. And then when I went to college, I was like very focused on my music. So, I don't know.
Hmm. I don't know. It's like, oh,
I'm,
somebody said you're pretty.
I mean, I've just come to terms with that. I'm like, yeah, I actually am.
Let's unpack that. I know we were talking about wokeifying sitcoms, but what makes a woman, and I'm being serious now, what makes a woman feel pretty within this
Um,
current age?
I mean, it's more like how other women treat each other a lot of the time. And then, like, self-confidence, you know?
Mhm.
And I mean, not to go too deep, but like, I was told my whole childhood that I was ugly and fat and blah, 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 you know? So you kind of have to work through that whole self-confidence thing.
Is that why so many women have, I want to say, what's the word I'm looking for? Body image issues with themselves. Because I know it's easy to blame Hollywood, but you touched on something a lot of people don't mention: other women.
Yeah. I mean, other women, we're extremely hard on each other. Like, yeah, you guys, you think we dress for you? Hell no, we dress for other women so we don't get criticized.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know a lot of people like, oh, Hollywood and commercials and advertisers, they're all putting these images out there, and we're trying to compete with these images. Or men, they're looking for this perfect woman. But you're one of the first women I've ever heard to say it's like, yeah, that may be true, but we're also looking at other women and how they view us.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, all of that is very pertinent because we're flooded with that shit since we're born, But then, like, other women, like, I'm sorry, ladies, but we are bitches to each other.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, we need to, like, actually bond and, like, be actual friendship status, not, like, tear each other down.
That's true.
And, like,
Aries is like, yeah, women compete with other women, and it's sad that
yeah.
that's a realistic thing.
Yeah, and it's like we get so caught up on that we don't take care of real issues.
Is there really like that movie? Yes, I saw it, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Oh no.
Because
No women actually have friends like that. Nope, not in my experience. All my
I
friends were fake. They just wanted to be around to like sap off whatever, you know.
so going back to looks and women, I know some women they have these clothing swaps where they get all their old clothes and they have a party and they have other women come over. Totally a girl thing. Guys won't do that. But I've heard some women that like, I don't want to go to the clothing swap because all the women are like a size 0 to a size 6. I'm a size 10 or 12. Nobody's gonna want my clothes.
um I mean, I have no experience with that, but I mean, Marilyn Monroe was a size 12, so hey.
Yeah, Marilyn was hot.
Yeah, see? Nobody
Uh,
wants a size 0 skin off your bones grossness.
Women world, girl world is
It's
totally
weird.
alien to me. I'm not gonna lie.
It's very
Let's tell
weird.
everybody what happened when you met my ex-wife, because you told me afterwards there was a whole thing
Oh
went
yeah.
on that I was totally clueless about.
Oh yeah, we have like this whole communication thing that we do with each other that is like totally silent. It's like looks and like little body gestures and like maybe a little like you know.
Yeah, because what happened was my ex-wife and her boyfriend, he's 26, she's 43. Do the math. Came over to drop off some of my stuff. I did not tell her that Johanna was here. So first thing we noticed, he put some of the stuff by the door and he took off. He got in the car and he was gone.
Yeah.
I don't know why they took two cars, but they did. So the ex-wife was talking to me. Johanna was standing right there. Did not acknowledge her, no eye contact, nothing. And I was like,
Mm-mm.
hey, Sam, this is Johanna. Johanna, this is Sam. Johanna was like, hi, smiles and stuff. And
I got
what
the
happened with
clammy
this weird
hand.
handshake thing?
Yep, got the clammy hand, and I was like, this. She's scared of me. And then she finally made eye contact, and it was, yeah, like
Yeah,
Don't
and we
mess
got
with my
upstairs, and
man.
you're like, there was a lot going on. Like, what all was going on between you two that was not
So
said?
there was like a whole conversation. She was like, okay, so all unsaid, of course, because this is girl stuff. But she was basically like, "What are you doing with him already?" And I was, give back the body language of like, "You have no right to talk to him. Get out of here." And then I gave her the teacher stare. And then she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you know how to handle some things. I'm gonna back the fuck down." you know.
is there like, hey, I wonder how your ex looks. Are they prettier than me? Am I prettier than them? Is that what goes through women's minds? And then they meet each other and it's like, oh, I'm prettier than that bitch. Like,
Oh,
does
I
that?
totally was like, hell yeah, I'm way hotter than your ex. I'm not gonna lie. Like, dang, yeah, you traded up, babe.
See, guys, I don't know. Our minds, we're thinking, hey, does this guy got a bigger dick than me? That's what guys think in our mind when we meet, an ex of whoever we're dating.
Yeah.
I don't know why
So
our minds do that, but that's where we go
that's
mentally.
yeah. Yeah, girls are just like, okay, is she prettier than me?
That's
That's like
crazy.
insta where we go.
So, do you see in a world where you and my ex could be friends?
No.
Good.
I mean, she was horrible to you.
She
Uh-uh.
was. She scarred me.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I couldn't, somebody I care about? No way.
That's good. I cannot be friends with any of your exes. Don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to think of the question. Because we were talking about, doing this show, we are talking about like dating preferences. Like, if I swipe on a white woman, for example, and she messaged back, hey, thanks, but no thanks, I only date white guys. Should I immediately
Like,
think, yo, this bitch racist? Or should I
mhm.
just like, okay, she has a preference?
Right? Like, where do we go with all of this, I guess? Like, because, I mean, I know, like, for me, I just like a person for who they are. But I know a
Mhm.
lot of people are very, I don't know, what's the word I'm trying to find here? Like,
And they're very limited in their selection and their choices of what they want in a mate.
yeah, it's like, I only
I was
want,
gonna say
like,
narrow minded, but we'll
uh,
go with
I know, right? Like, I only want, like, a dark haired guy from Scotland with blue eyes. And like, there's only like five of those there, right?
only five. But it's like my mind doesn't immediately think in that scenario I gave you that this woman's prejudiced. Because I really do believe that there's a difference between preferences and somebody just being prejudiced or racist for whatever reason.
Right. It's kind of like, like, I hate to bring it up, but like the people that drive with the flags on the back of their cars and then they like yell out shit. Like,
America.
yeah, you know, they're like, send them back to Mexico. Like, that kind of stuff. Like, obviously, that's very racist.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to deal with that. But like, yeah, if you just like are like, I don't like that look, or I don't know, or do you have a social bias?
Mm. Social bias, that's a curveball. So social bias, prejudice, and then preference.
Yeah. So like, is
That
it?
can get blurry.
Yeah, it's like, is it a social bias? Is it a preference? Is it?
Because I know a lot of black women, they say black men ain't shit, but they only want to date black men.
Yeah,
So is that a social bias or is that a preference?
right. That's a toughie.
I think it's a social bias because they may feel comfortable with black men.
Right. Yeah, like that's, they're like, I know what to expect.
Yeah. Because I look at a preference as, hey, I only date chicks who, I don't know, are
Have
vegan.
red hair.
Yeah. I think that's social conditioning when it comes to us nerds. Let's throw that one in there. Social conditioning. Because I really do think there's a thing. I have no, like proof of this, but when it comes to black men loving white women with red hair,
Yeah.
I really do think that's a thing. I see it everywhere. But I'm gonna do a documentary one day, call it Black and Red. I don't know, but
Follow Felicia Day around.
hell yeah, social bias. I say if you live in small town America, you're white. Everybody around you is white. That's all you know. That could be a social
Not
bias and not mean you're
necessarily.
racist.
Because, like, southeastern Colorado, it's mostly Hispanic. So, like, that's why, like, and this is so dorky, but, like, when my students were like, hey, we don't consider you white, I was like, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some
So,
cultures expect you to only marry, like, I know some Jewish mothers, they're like, no, you need to marry a nice Jewish girl, or, different cultures, they prefer, the family
yeah,
prefer you to date somebody of that culture.
right. So, like, yeah, if we get into, like, Catholicism, then it's very, like, strict.
Yeah.
Like, you can only date another Catholic.
And some people got some good reasons for this. They're like, hey, it's like they believe in what we believe in, or they understand our language, they understand our culture, our history, our heritage. And you bring in an outsider, you're going to have to explain this, and they may not get
Hmm.
it. Or
But
we want
then,
our kids to be this race. We're Hispanic, we want our kids to be Hispanic, our grandkids.
yeah, it's
Don't
kind
put
of like,
Aryan blood into that mix.
right? It's kind of like the one side of my family, they're like all Dutch and they know for like generations back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think it was really like a, hey, Dutch pride kind of thing, but but then like I'm part Cherokee. I know, right?
Yeah.
But um and a lot of the Cherokees were very just like open to anyone.
Nice.
So it's like you kind of have to wonder about some of the whole cultural thing.
You do really have to wonder, especially when people are like, oh, well, these people interbred with these people. And, of course, when you have war and migration, throughout history, that did happen. People were, I don't think anybody's pure anything these days in the modern world.
Right?
They'll claim it,
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm like, we're all mixed.
especially in America.
Right? For
I don't
real.
know. It's like I never had to explain to my family, hey, I'm dating this girl. She's Asian, or she's white, or she's whatever. I never had to have that conversation with my family, but I know a lot of people have had to explain who they're dating to their family before they bring that person around.
Right? And like, I wonder about that. Like, I mean, I know like my grandparents and like the older side of my family, like they came off racist, but like they were born in the 1910s.
Oh dang.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like how people talked. And I know it's not okay, but like they didn't know better. And they were still like very kind to everyone. So, I mean, where do you go from that? Like, like the social conditioning, like we were talking about, versus like you're just a kind person.
Yeah. And this brings up an interesting question. Last night here in Colorado Springs, the one gay club that we have in town, it was a mass shooting. 5 people were dead, 18 people were injured. And
Mhm.
looking at some of the comments on YouTube, somebody made a comment, "Oh, this is the only kind of mass shooting I believe in." And it was
Right?
all this anger. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, and I was just like, no, like why do you care?
And my question, and my condolences to all the family members and anyone impacted by that. But
Mm.
my question is, why is it some people who are racist are more willing to be like, you know what, I don't like it, but if it makes you happy, go for it. They're more
Mm.
willing to put aside their hate just because it'll make that family member happy. But don't you be one of them funny people. So why is it more people who are quote unquote racist more willing to accept an interracial relationship rather than a gay relationship?
Right?
Why do you think that is?
I know I don't know if it's just like because we've been so conditioned by social norms, like, like you're not allowed to be with someone because I think there are actually still a couple of states where it's illegal for um I don't know if I can say it on here, but that sex
Same sex
and
marriages?
uh-huh. Um a couple of places in the South, I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah, and well, while we're on that rag, it's still illegal for women to vote in Arizona.
That is crazy. It's a couple states have just fully abolished slavery, and some of them they still have it on their books. It's
It's
crazy.
Yeah, it's like how backwards are we, guys? Like, can't we just all get along?
Oh Lord,
I
it
had
takes
to
a
go there.
village.
I had to go there.
But you know, I've never cared who my friends are dating, who my family members are dating. As long as they're dating a good person, I don't care.
Right? Like if that person makes you happy, they treat you well, cool, right?
Yep,
Some of my favorite people, and I'm a
that's good.
musician, so I mean, some of my favorite people are very flamboyant. And you know what? They're awesome to hang out with. Like, shout out to Rufio. No,
I don't
don't
know.
go shoot him. No, that's not
No,
a
don't
good
say
joke.
that.
That's a terrible
Um,
joke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
it's crazy. I don't want anybody to get shot.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you ever? Like, there's
Some people just
no.
have a lot of hate in their heart
Yeah,
instead of love.
exactly. It's like, just go do something nice for someone and you might feel better. You know? Go.
Do people do people participate in acts of kindness anymore that are not self motivated? Where I went and gave a homeless person $5, and they want to announce it on their Instagram or Facebook or whatever, just to
Right.
get people like, oh, you're such a good person, you're so kind.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of that with, like I need to post this on Facebook. Hey, look how cool I am.
Yeah,
You know. Um, I don't know, that's a good one.
I have a couple. I'm good for a couple.
But I mean, I think the honestly good people, like they still go around and want to help and, you know, like I don't know. Um like we have loaves and fishes here
Hmm.
and they have like for people that are homeless on Tuesdays they can come take showers and they can get some food to have in their cars and like if it's really desperate they have housing. Like those are good people
Yeah,
because they I doubt they get paid much. So, you know, and they just are genuinely there.
I think that's amazing when humanity's actually being human and helping each other out,
Yeah,
and not like I'm helping you out, but I want something in return. I want that validation that I'm a good person.
right. I was like my little yoga ladies, the one she volunteers at the food bank and she only mentioned it to ask if she could get any of us to volunteer with her.
Hmm.
So like that's pretty amazing, I think.
That is amazing. Whatever. Let's get back to dating real quick.
I know we got way off course.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about like growing up. I would always meet these women who would tell me they want an aggressive man. I was too nice.
Hmm.
And talking to the rest of men in our secret men conversations in the man cave, we all growing up in the 80s and 90s, we were all told that, especially if you were, nerdy, you weren't like a jock or, a thug or whatever. Oh,
Yeah.
you're too nice. You're too nice. But now these same aggressive men, or they're being told they're all narcissists. Is
Yeah.
it because women learned the word narcissist, or is it because people have become more self-aware of mental health and the way that they're being treated affects them?
I think it's the second, you know, and a lot of that, I mean, again, don't want to delve too much into my past, but like some of those men turned out to be very actually violent, not just aggressive because of that conditioning, you know? And I think that a lot of it is really just like people are finally like realizing that, hey, this is not good for me. This is not good for him. You know, um, like we really need to actually just be people.
I agree, and I'm glad that mental health has become a norm, and people are becoming aware of it and seeking help, and learning about themselves and why they do the things they do, why they react the way they do, or don't react. Because sometimes we don't react; we're
Right.
frozen.
Yeah, you do the, was it fight, flight, or freeze?
Fight. Oh yeah, I like that. Fight or freeze.
Yeah, yeah, they've added that to the whole thing, fight, flight, or freeze. And that's like when you're overwhelmed and you just can't even function anymore, you just stop.
Yeah, it's like with our relationship when we first started dating. Uh, I didn't realize that I was still emotionally wounded from my past relationship. I thought I was fine. Nothing wrong with me. F her. Thought I was
Mhm.
mentally fine and ready for a whole new relationship.
Right.
But you helped me realize that I still had a lot of healing to do, and that I was still wounded, even if consciously I was telling myself I'm not wounded, I'm not affected by that.
Right. And it's like it's the subconscious that really gets us, because we can really think all of these things all the time, but it's what is going on in the subconscious mind that controls everything we do.
Yeah. And you taught me that, you know what? It's okay. somebody can love you without an agenda and to just accept it. You taught me that. Like, motherfucker, accept my love. Try to love your ass.
Right. Just let me take care of you.
Yeah. And when you've been in relationships where you've been used before, that's a hard thing to come to terms with, that, hey, this person wants to love you without an agenda attached to it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, okay, let me get rid of some of these walls and turn them down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Just
like,
this
yeah,
is love. Wow. Okay, this is love without an agenda. Wow, this is cool.
right? It
That's a
can happen.
hard, yeah, it's a hard thing for people to accept and learn love without an agenda.
Right? Like, when you think of, like, when you hear unconditional love, you think of, oh, my mom. But it's not always necessarily the case. Like, if you're not shown that as a kid, you don't know how to do it as an adult. So then when somebody's like, yeah, I love you no matter what, you're like, no, you don't.
I think you love that unconditional love starts when you do each other's laundry.
Do each other's dishes.
Yeah, a little different for me. I'm like, damn, I gotta throw away all these underwear with holes in them.
Like, she can't see those.
No, I got a streak in
She's
them.
gonna be in
Yeah,
there
I'm
with
doing
the stuff
laundry
and
today.
get it.
You learn a lot about each other, but learning to not just accept, and this is where people start talking about love languages. And I'm sorry, love languages aren't just limited to what's in that book.
Right. I agree.
You know, love languages can be anything that you want them to be.
Like
Your passion to me is your love.
snuggling all morning.
Yeah. Oh, I just got what you meant by that. You dirty.
Yeah.
But love languages can be, like,
Yeah, like I want to play piano for you.
mm-hmm, I
That's
want to
how I'm
share my
gonna show
gift
you
with you.
my appreciation because I can't cook. you know?
Nah, we established that.
Yeah. Except for those fajitas.
Those were good. Those were legendary. I think people have a hard time. You mentioned this earlier with their grocery list of qualifications. Six figure income, six pack, all that,
They want
house, car, boat.
artificial shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, for men, you gotta have a body like fucking Jennifer Lopez, long hair,
Hmm.
speak five languages, great in the sack. We all have these unreal expectations. And to me, that's what's causing people to be unhappy with relationships, because they're
Yeah.
not being realistic with themselves about who they should be dating, what type of people want to date them, and so forth.
Right. I totally agree. Like, I mean, my grandparents on the one side, they were married for 78 years. That's like longer than some people live. But like they just worked things out as they went through it. He figured out, hey, she's the boss. I'm just, gonna chill. Like, they figured out how to work with each other and they made like a beautiful relationship out of it.
Aries said that Love Without an Agenda, that would be a great title for a book.
Right? It really would.
Then Aries said quality time, gift giving, affirmations, touch, and one more. Oh, he's talking about the five love languages. Dang, what is that other one? Quality time, acts of service is the gift giving,
Yeah.
affirmations, physical touch. Dang, what is the other one?
Uh
Can you look it up? Oh yeah, hold up, I got my phone. Now it's
okay.
gonna. You talk while I look it up because it's gonna bother
Okay.
me in time.
I know, right? I'm like, yep. So that's called collective dismembering. So like you can't remember because the other person you are talking to couldn't remember what they were talking about.
Mm.
And so like it's like almost like a virus. I was like, man, the psyche is so amazing. It's so weird. So like there's all these crazy things our brains do in response to other people.
Keep talking. I'm looking it up.
And okay. You're like, yeah, I'm still looking. Um so yeah, like if you are talking about like, you remember that one band, we saw them on this date, and then the other person's like, oh yeah, I totally remember. Wait, what's their name? Like it happens like you both can't remember, and then you ask someone else, like in your friend group, and they're like, wait, oh no, I can't remember now either. It's like a fascinating coincidence.
That goes into the unified mind theory, which
Yeah,
states that once something is known, that information's out there, we can all pull it from this magical source of knowledge.
right? But then it's kind of like that collective, like, oh, you can't remember it now, I can't remember it, you know?
So, do you believe in the Mandela effect?
Oh, totally. Like, okay, Bernstein or Bernstein?
Berenstain.
That's like the classic one. I was like, I remember Berenstain Bears.
Me too.
Yeah, not Bernstein.
Did Curious George have a tail?
I thought so.
I
Does
thought
he
so
not?
too. I don't think he has one now.
Hmm,
I do not
interesting.
think he has one. Um, it's crazy. We're talking about relationships, and then we get into unified mind theory
I
and
know, right?
collective, consciousness and things of that nature.
Only happens when you're talking with someone with two master's degrees, you know. No.
Okay, so here it is.
Okay.
Five love languages:
Okay.
words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts. Okay, so you like to give gifts. I don't want you like to receive gifts. Quality time and physical touch.
Okay. So, yeah, my love language is weird then. I mean, I guess playing piano for someone is giving a gift, yeah?
Let's break down. Let's go through all five of these. Okay, I'll tell
Yeah,
you where I'm at with these. You tell me where you're at with these. Okay.
cool.
Let's start with words of affirmation. Affirmation.
I mean, I like it to some point when we're like, "Hey, baby, I love you," and like, "Oh, love dove." But then at a certain point, I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'm done." It's not like something I need every day. It's more just like, "Hey, we're in love with each other. We're being cheesy," you know?
I like that. And with me, with words of affirmation, you know, I like the reminder. It's like
Mhm.
it. You're right. It doesn't have to be every day, but you know, if we've been together for 6 months and you only told me you love me once, or you told me, hey, you look good in that shirt or whatever, I'm gonna start feeling insecure. I need, that acknowledgement. I ain't gonna lie. Like, but you're good at, telling me this stuff. So, uh,
Yeah, I tell you I love you way too much.
what about acts of service? Where are you at with that one?
Um, I mean, I don't know if it's like a like partner love relationship thing for me. I like to do it for people because I want to help people,
Hmm.
but I don't know if it's like, hey, I need to do this for my man, you know?
I like where I'm at with the acts of service. I like to spoil the person I'm with. I like to do things. And in the dating world, people look at that as, oh, you simping. You bought that bitch a cheeseburger. No, it's a big difference between acts of service, doing things, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, you buying or spending money on a person. Acts of
Right.
service could be
It's like
anything.
cooking for you. I do like to cook for you, even though I'm not good at it.
That's cute.
Yeah.
But you're right. It could be cookie. It could be, hey, you know what? You got a migraine. I went and got you some medicine.
Right.
Little
Yeah.
things like that. Your back hurt. I
Yeah.
rubbed it. What about receiving gifts?
I mean, I'm kind of like your classic American girl there, where it's like awkward. I don't want to take a gift, you know.
See, I rarely get gifts from people, so if somebody gives me a gift, I'm kind of weirded out. Like, whoa, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's like, what do you
It means
want?
a lot. Um, Quality time. I think we're both
I do
like the
like
quality time,
quality time. Yeah.
but I like my me time too.
Right. We both need to recharge. Yeah.
All right. The last one is physical touch.
We're good at that one. Um,
Say
I mean,
less.
shh.
All right. Aries said, did that Sinbad movie exist?
Oh,
Um,
with the Mandela effect. I remember the Sinbad movie.
wait, was Shaq in it?
Yeah.
That was a real movie.
Yeah, I remember that shit. I never watched it, but I remember the previews.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I remember that movie,
Right? Yeah.
but apparently it never was made.
See, like, Mandela effect. You gotta love some of this. It's like, it trips you out.
It really does. It's like, how is it, going back to the unified mind theory that we all are
Remember this
remembering
one
one thing that's,
thing. Yeah.
massive millions of people.
Right? Like Fruit Loops. That's another one. Is it LOOPS or LOUPS?
You asking the wrong person about Fruit Loops.
See, I remember the double O's.
Wait, say it again.
LOOPS, but I guess it's LOUPS. Yeah, I went to the.
Wait, I thought it was double O's. I think you're right.
See, exactly. That's what I remember, double O's.
I think we're getting spammed. Have something called Sex Find Info. Find Love is the best dating app. I hate spam.
That's so annoying. I'm like, no, we already got Love You. You know, try not to cuss too much, because
Have you ever read the Four Agreements?
No.
Four Agreements. Then I believe they wrote another book called Five Agreements. I didn't read it, but basically, it's the Four Agreements are: don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions about things or people, always do your best, and be oh my god, I can't pronounce the word. Uh, and pap and
Always be prepared.
no,
I'm making a joke now
be
about the song.
impeccable with your word. See, I hate being from Texas. We can't pronounce anything, but the Four Agreements are a good guidepost on how to live. You know, uh, mean what you say what you mean. That type.
Yeah, equanimous
You know,
mind.
don't assume things. Don't pass judgment. Always do your best. And don't take anything personally. And when it comes to relationships, we take everything personally
Right.
because
And
you're
always
dealing with my
share
heart.
water.
How dare you? You hurt me. People are making millions of dollars off single people and off married people, off people in general, when it comes to relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And then people end up questioning themselves and their choices because of all these books and articles that people are writing. They're questioning themselves, they're questioning their relationship, their decisions.
Right.
So, who do you trust? Do you trust these so-called experts, or do you trust your own judgment?
right? And I think that's where, like, you go to my jam with the yoga, like, you learn that. Like, you learn to trust your own intuition and your own mindset. And, you learn from your master, of course. But, like, you start to learn, like, what you really are deep down at your core, not like
Mm.
just your physical body in this present time, or your thoughts, or your behavior, like, you're beyond all of that.
Mm.
And that's, I think, where it's really helpful, because you can go, okay, does this person actually belong with my soul? Not just, hey, I physically like this person, or, this person makes me feel secure in this life.
Does this person belong with my soul? That's deep.
Like, and like, we knew it right away.
We did everything backwards.
We really did. Yeah, but I mean, like, I just, like, with you, I just knew. I was like, Anna Green Gables reference, you're my kindred spirit.
I never understood this twin flame thing. Where does that come from? I hear people say it. What the hell does it mean?
See, I don't totally know either. I think it's like you're two people that are super passionate about each other,
Mm.
and, like, you have, like, this crazy kind of steamy relationship or something. But I don't really know. I mean,
Eric said only the parties in the relationship know the answers. The gurus, the coaches, and sex therapists have what's the thing I'm missing a word? Oh, have it all wrong.
hmm,
I agree because with anything they're basing their judgments, their answers on their own experiences.
right? I mean, yeah, we're gonna go there. Take my mom's partner. He's a therapist, and I mean, I wouldn't trust that man as far as I could kick him.
But do people from academia they're intellectualizing relationships and their thoughts and they're putting themselves on this pedestal?
Mm-hmm. That's where, like, I call it the holier than thou syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm better than you kind of deal comes into play. They're like, I know more than you do, or, I do this more than you do. And it's like, that's not what it's about. That's not what
No.
life is about.
Now with your mom's relationship, good thing she's not on YouTube. I feel that this guy, he is living a cushy life. He
Yeah, he's,
found somebody who has an open, loving heart, gave her some sob story, and has manipulated her. And he's living his best life ever.
yeah.
And she's paying the price for it.
I mean, I
Now,
agree.
will I ever say this to your mom? No.
I know. Me neither, because she shut down, like, as soon as I tried to bring anything up. So, I mean, she did grow up with an abusive father who threw her out of a car when she was like 3 years old. So, I mean, you're going to have some issues.
People do tend to fall in love with their abusers,
Mm-hmm.
even if the abusers, family members. And when I say love, I'm not just saying, like intimate love, you know.
Yeah,
And then
like
sometimes,
Stockholm status.
bingo, sometimes people just feel trapped and they
Yeah,
know their situation is bad, but they don't know a way out.
Exactly. I
And if
mean,
they
that's
feel
yeah. That's how
they
I
feel if
was
they
with
go
my
to people,
ex-husband, you
they're
know?
gonna get judged. Pride, like the homeless people here in Colorado Springs. We had a homeless person get killed the other day. Uh, some homeless people do have places to go. Not all of them, of course,
Yeah.
but that pride when it comes to picking up that phone and calling a family member and saying I need help,
Mhm.
they'd rather be out on the streets. It's amazing. I was homeless, uh, not for an extended period of time, mind you, but
Right.
that pride kept me from picking that phone up myself and calling a family member and asking for help.
Yeah. It was like, like I've mended ways with my dad because, I was like, hey, I, he's trying for one, and I needed help. And, he was like the only person there.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of help, I don't want to get into your whole thing about your dad.
yeah, yeah.
Somebody told me the other day they think everybody needs therapy. Do you agree or disagree? Where are you at with that?
I think everybody needs yoga, not therapy. I, I mean, just a plug for myself, but not seriously, because like therapy has not done me much good. I think it actually made me worse while we were dating,
Mm.
for those first few weeks. Like I was recalling all this stuff that I didn't need to remember. And, like if I just stuck to doing my like Ayurveda and yoga, none of that would have come up.
Mm. You're getting deep.
I mean, I'm just saying that's what worked for me. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm a firm believer that sometimes if you dig deep enough into your past and you're recalling that, traumatic events,
hmm
even though it happened years ago, now it's resurfaced. Now you have to deal with it all over again. So it's like,
exactly.
and you may not be mentally prepared to deal with that again.
Right? I
Because now
mean,
you're looking at and questioning everything.
yeah. And then you're like, how true are these memories, or did this person just put it in my head? You
Yeah.
know?
I showed you from the subtle art of not giving a fuck by Mark Mason. You know,
Yeah.
he touched on that. I remember, and you can't say the R word on YouTube, but I remember that happened to my sister.
hmm
I was a small child, I was probably like 10, 11 years old. I brought it up. How dare I bring up family business, right?
Oh,
Family
yeah.
members got pissed off at me because I voiced this thing that, of course, it affected her. But
Right.
me being a 10, 11-year-old child witnessing this horrific act, that messed me up in ways that I didn't even know.
Right. Yeah.
And it was one of those things in my family, you don't talk about nothing.
Mine too. Like, unless it's happy news, you do not talk about it.
Hmm. And I remembered that. And I remember uh, one time my mom's getting beat up by her boyfriend. And all of us kids are over there fighting this grown man. And I remember my mom taking this guy back.
Mm.
And I remember years later, thinking about like my mom going to see this guy to get some money. And I remember, single parent, 4 kids, no judgment on her. But these are the things I started remembering. I remember
Right.
getting hey, here's $3. Go to the corner store while the used car man is parked in the yard. Don't knock on the door. Don't come home, until you see this car gone. When you get older, you start thinking about these things, and you're like, what the frig was really going on?
Right.
And you know, it's one of those things where you're looking at it. Hey, that was my 10, 11, 12 year old mind. Here's my 40 something mind remembering these things.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like trying to piece it together. What are you remembering correctly as far as what
Right.
happened versus what you think happened versus the illusion?
Right. Like what you've been told and
Exactly. A lot
yeah.
of people have been told their daddy's one person. They don't know who their daddy is.
Well, at
Mom don't
least
even know who dad is. But
I at least know that.
I was told my daddy was named Arthur Campbell and never met this guy a day in my life.
I almost said something really bad, but yeah.
But it's one of those things. And again, in my family, we didn't discuss these
Yeah.
things. When I did bring these things up, I was shunned. How dare you?
Yeah.
You're
It's like
embarrassing
we
us.
don't talk about that.
Yeah, you're embarrassing us. How dare
Hmm. Yeah, I got that too. It's like we don't talk about that.
you? Yeah.
No. And you got that stern look. Yeah, like, all right, I'll leave it be, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know. But I
Right.
love you.
I love you too.
We've been on here for over an hour.
I know, right?
We got to end it on a good note, not, like
Not a sad
sad,
note.
traumatic family stuff.
I know, right? I was like, well, that was depressing. Hey.
Yeah.
We'll leave you with that and think about your night.
Yeah. Let's think about everybody's like regurgitating their family traumas.
I was
Uh,
like, oh man.
Never did get that pony I wanted as a child or the Lego set.
That, yeah.
I kind of
Mm.
wonder why we hold on to some things from our childhood that are completely selfish.
Well, there's been like a lot of neuroscience on it from the age that, we're born till about 7. Our brains are just totally receptive to anyone and everyone. So, like, you could just have one random person come by your crib when you're like 2 and be like, oh, you're an ugly baby. And you're going to hold on to that forever
Mm.
because that went straight from your conscious to your subconscious mind.
Yeah, and you're right. People will hold on to that. You
Mm-hmm.
tell somebody you're ugly, and they grow up thinking I'm ugly. They can be the most physically beautiful person anyone's ever seen, but since it was drilled in their head as a child, that's all they see is ugly.
Right?
You
It's like,
tell a kid they're dumb. That's why, like,
I'm
you tell
always
these
going
kids
to
they
think,
have a learning disability,
yeah,
and some kids will grow up thinking, well, why try if I'm slow, if I'm dumb? I'm never going to get it.
right?
And I'm like, stop telling kids that. Tell them they learn differently. Teach them how their
Exactly.
mind works and how they learn.
Yeah. And that's where, don't even get me started on the teaching issues in this country, but that's where we fail children.
Yeah.
And that's where society fails teachers
Mm. Yeah,
because
because you have
we,
kids. We talked about body image earlier.
mhm.
Um, Little girls and little boys. Oh, you're fat.
Yeah, like
Cut
I
down that
still
cupcake.
think I'm fat all the time because I was told that constantly as a kid. And it's like, it takes me a good hard look to be like, no, I'm good.
You are good. You're real
But
good.
I'm real good. But like, and especially I think women, because we're constantly told you need to be thinner. You need to be, this size. You need to be like only eating this, that kind of thing. And you just like absorb that all into your heart.
I'm thinking about Taylor Swift. She has a video called Anti-Hero. It's on her new album. And this was like last month. One of the images, Taylor Swift is, it's been no secret. She's suffered from like body images, issues her whole life.
Yeah.
She's gone on
I mean,
record numerous times. And looking at her, you're like, whoa, you're physically, what people call
she's
perfect.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's tall,
But
she's skinny, yeah, blonde.
in her mind, she doesn't see that.
Exactly.
And in this video, she had one image, the word fat popped up. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, I think someone got on a scale and said fat on the scale or whatever. People went ape shit about this.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
it's a
we
real
have real
thing.
world shit going on, and that's what y'all are focusing on.
I know,
And
right?
there's a strong message in this song about, like your body and your image, the way you view yourself and all that. So they
Exactly.
took the video down and edited out that part. It's crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, I totally get that because you know me, I'm really muscly. So I've always weighed heavier than I look.
Mm.
And so I've gotten that whole discussion with the doctor, and then they'll come in and they're like, "Oh, never mind." So but you're still thinking in your head well, shit. They told me I was fat. Am I fat? What can I lose? You know?
It's crazy.
It's weird.
It is weird
And
that
we're just programmed like that from birth. Like
what's
this is
weird to me are these people who are addicted to plastic surgery because they, in their mind, want this perfect image that they're never going to be able to
Mhm.
achieve.
I actually have that book. It was a plastic surgeon who wrote it. Um, and it's all about self-image. Like some people, they'd be in horrible accidents, so he'd redo their whatever happened, and then some people their self-confidence would increase, and some people it never did.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote this whole psychology thing behind it about self-image, and how we view ourselves is actually more important than how we actually look.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the whole service of that.
You silly.
Yeah,
I
you
don't know.
love it.
I do love it. I love you. I do. La la la. All that.
All that. Yeah,
We unpacked a lot.
I
Maybe we
know,
should do
right?
this once a week. This can be our therapy session.
I know, right? I was like, hey, y'all can just listen to us vent about things.
Vent about the world and what ails you today. I
Oh,
saw a Karen
Costco and
walking among
Karens.
us.
Yep. My next door Karen.
Next door, Karen.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get you a sticker that says that you can,
I know,
or
right? Rainbow colors. Next time she puts somebody's a note on somebody's car for parking by the mailboxes.
who does that?
I know, right?
We should do. uh Yeah, next time we do one of these, we should definitely do a Karen's in the Wilds segment.
Hell yeah. I can
Is there a cure for Karens?
right.
We could do a telethon
Well, will the Karens respond to Johanna's sweetness? Or will
next time.
they? Yeah.
That would be funny.
Because I am like overly sweet.
You are sweet. Sweetest song I ever know. We need to go to karaoke again.
We really do.
Karaoke. And we need a food show because I just
Mhm.
want free food.
You just want free food.
Yeah.
We need to buy a food truck and
What
drive
are,
around the country.
what are we going to sell?
My fajitas.
No.
You're like, nobody else can have
No, I'm just
those.
looking at how pointed this thing is now. I'm like,
Yep. I
it
wore it the
won't go
other
on
day
my
and I was
head.
like, my head is way too small for this thing.
Look at that forehead. I got to shave this off.
You got, well, hey, okay. Just for everybody's pleasure. There's my 5 head. And this is why I have bangs. Way cuter, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. We're getting out of here. We give y'all an hour and 26 minutes of entertainment, of knowledge.
Super randomness.
Super random. Yo, so
Hi.
we got a Vegeta tattoo.
I have an ahimsa tattoo. Whoops. If I can function my camera correctly.
How do people flirt?
Hmm.
People don't even talk to each other in real life anymore.
I know, right?
It's weird.
This is why I like my little tiny racist town.
What the fuck?
People actually still talk to each other even though they're assholes.
Yeah, if they're all white
I mean, if you're Mexican, you're okay.
in that town,
I know it's bad. Sorry.
racists
Y'all.
pick, they're like, do I like black people? Do I like Asians, Indians? It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, y'all. It's a bad, you know. But people do still talk to each other.
Again, if you're white, you got to get out of that town.
I know, right?
But, I tell people, like, yeah, you can be racist and nice to people, but you're only nice to certain people.
Right.
These people are still shitty people,
Yes, they are.
you know. So that's why I don't want to come there. No,
Mm-mm. That's why I go to your place.
I know.
Hmm. Even though I don't know, Colorado Springs isn't much better.
It really is. And we got 3 mega churches. They just had the shooting, at the gay club. I don't know, it's
Yeah.
just a weird, weird town.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might move to Texas soon.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. No
No, New
state income
Mexico.
tax.
Ah, South Dakota.
Nobody wants to move in South Dakota.
People are hella nice, and you could buy a house for $50,000.
What do you do in South Dakota? Have you met people from South Dakota?
I have family there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you think everybody's nice and sweet? I wish I lived in that world you live in.
My little bubbly world.
You have pretty people privilege. That's why you think everybody's nice, because they're nice to you. Where you at? Right there, you.
Yeah. No, they're not
It's a
always
little
nice to
different from
me.
me. They want to mess with my hoo ha and my panty sniffer.
Yeah, my coot coot and my prune shoot.
We're gonna talk about pretty people privilege later.
Like, I'm still like coming to terms with the fact that I'm okay with thinking I look okay.
Be okay with it, cause you do. You're pretty. All right, y'all. That's it for tonight. We're gonna take our pretty asses out of here. One love, like, subscribe, all that